flew to Prague to make a delivery, had just enough time to get paid and get laid. The flight took a day, but the time zones gave half back. The in-flight movie was Rules of Attraction, of which I learned none, but rather decided to make up some of my own. I didn't mind the time was ticking as long as the package wasn't. Made my drop off, but I didn't pick anything up. Not yet anyway. Time to see the sights before I pulled off some tights tonight. Alright, Old Town Square has some old school flair with a rockin' feel from the Glockenspiel, celebrated with Jan Hus and a gin and a juice. He would have been blowing up if Gutenberg could have printed his press, but instead he was burned at the stake. Speaking of press, I pressed up on Natasha Natalia and some chick with no genitalia. Time for a drink. After a pint of pure named Pilsner, I picked a pack of some really hot chicks, but I just couldn't decide. Speaking of picked, some a-hole picked my pocket, but he quickly learned that I don't keep my money there, but rather a set of instructions. Speaking of fucking, I thought I'd go fishing for some sweet, sweet ass, but I had just as much luck as this guy named Chuck. I finally got a bite from a girl that just might meet me under King Wenceslaus's tail. I decided I'd rather eat alone. The food was so different from home. So different. Tagi Fridays looked good, but I sat on a place called Jan's Hus of Ribs, where I learned the Czech word for a huge effing plate of ribs. Speaking of effing, I thought I'd check out some Czech chicks at the Chuck Bridge, but I got lost along the way. From Jan Hus to Anschluss, the cobblestones that were Habsburg's roots were trampled on by German jackboots and communist troops. On the way back, I found something I hadn't been looking for. The landmarks that guided me had found a way inside of me. How could I have been so obtuse to the city of Jan Hus? The women were beautiful, but it was the city that made them that way. I salute you, Prague, the golden city of 1,000 spires. A week would have been 7 days to remember, but I only needed 1 day to never forget.